Hi, I am Victor and this is my Roguenia game called Betrayed Realm. In this devlog I have created an ability system, 3 unique abilities, and I will also be talking about the gameplay loop I want to create for this game. So why have I decided to add abilities? The reasons are quite simple. Abilities are fun to use, they add a lot of variety, which is important for roguelikes, and they mix well with melee combat. For example, using an ability to pull an enemy closer to you, or easily deal with a bunch of enemies with an explosive ability. However, using abilities costs mana, and the only way to get back mana is by damaging enemies with weapons. This creates a simple but strong tie between the two. I am also inspired by Dead Cells, where I enjoy being creative with the weapons and abilities. I want to achieve a similar feeling with my game. Players can have 2 different abilities equipped at the same time. Cool thing is that the abilities can also be used by weapons, which enables me to create weapons that shoot projectiles or do other things. As I have mentioned, I have created 3 abilities. My thought process behind them was simple, and that was to create unique abilities that test the ability system. My favorite is Detonation Bomb. It spawns a projectile that bounces off obstacles. By pressing a button or the projectile running out of time, the projectile explodes, dealing damage to everything in range. Next ability is Teleport. To be honest, I don't really like it, because it is basically just a dash that goes through walls, which isn't worth enough to be occupying a whole ability slot. However, it is possible I will take its code and reuse it for some teleporting enemies. That could be cool, maybe. Last ability is Firebolt. It spawns a projectile that passes through enemies and breakable objects. As I have mentioned, the only way to get back mana is by hitting an enemy with a weapon. This spawns a mana orb, and every 5th orb consumed gives you 1 mana back. When I implemented secondary weapons to the game, they at first added to the gameplay, but now with abilities they kind of just feel useless. I remember when I was testing the abilities, I noticed that I had no reason to use the secondary weapons, and if I did, it slowed down the gameplay or detracted from the combat I have in mind. For these reasons I will be removing the secondary weapons, and most likely even the block mechanic. It is so difficult to make this choice, but I'm sure this will improve the combat. On a side note, I am considering adding heavy attacks for weapons. This showcases a beautiful and at the same time daunting thing about game design, where most of the time you are just shooting into the dark trying to make something fun that you and other people will enjoy. You have probably noticed this hyper-realistic dummy. It's currently the only thing in the game that expresses its emotion. And that is just beautiful. But it isn't the best combination with the fact that its only reason for existing is pain. One thing that I have never done in my games is audio. Amazingly, Unity makes this very easy. I have one audio source through which I play all the sound effects, and second for the biome ambient sounds. The challenging part is getting the audio files and then editing them in Audacity so they fit my game well. This will be time consuming in future, but I guess I will just have to be smart about it. Last thing I have done is improve the trees and edit tree stumps which can be destroyed. The gameplay loop I want for this game is basic, but it will allow me to be more creative with world building, the storytelling, and in general just to have fun with it. Players will always start in a ruined town, there you can spend loot you have collected while exploring to unlock new weapons, abilities and customizations. The world will be split into biomes. Each biome will have 2 bosses, at least that is the plan. Also with unique enemies and some mystery you will investigate as you try to find out why the realm was infested by monsters. I won't be guiding players outside of some objectives because I want players to be driven by their curiosity. I want to reward players for being curious because that is something I love in games. While exploring, you will gain some permanent buffs, gain currency to increase your arsenal, and find blueprints for new weapons, abilities and customizations. There are a bunch of other things, but most of them are related to combat, which will be the topic of the next devlog, where I will spend a lot of time doing game design and improving almost everything about combat. I want it to be more fast paced, and the best word to describe it would be aggressive. That is all. I just quickly want to mention that I have created an Instagram and I will be posting their screenshots and short clips that show new progress on the game. It will serve me as a way to communicate more frequently and also to gain some extra attention for this game. Thanks for watching and I hope you won't end up like the dummy. Bye.